Okaeri! Welcome back to another reading vlog. So currently I'm in the car with Hayato and we are on our way to go to Itoshima, which is about maybe 45-minute, an hour drive away. And they've got beautiful beaches. And there's supposed to be a place that has really good burgers near there. So both of us are off of work at the same time, and we also don't have our restaurant. So like this is a rare occasion, so we want to utilize it. So we're gonna go out and do a little bit of this thing called a date that I don't even remember. But thankfully this place has like outdoor seating and it'll be pretty easy to, social distance. So we're gonna go do that. Of course, I brought my book with me. I'm currently reading The Black Coast. If you watched my previous vlog, I had started this book at that point and I was getting good vibes from it, but I hadn't got too far into it. And in the couple days in between, I have fallen in love with this book. It's incredible. I'm obsessed with it. So hopefully I can finish this in the next couple of days. I think I'm about 25 to 30% through, and it's so good. It's very unique. There are, so far, there are 3 different communities is not the word I'm looking for. 3 different groups of people. Kingdoms. I don't know the word I'm looking for. You guys know what I'm talking about. Groups of people that live together. No, not nationality. Societies. That's the word. There are 3 different societies. One of them is very Viking based, and we follow them as they have to leave their hometown and try to settle in lands that they have previously raided. So one of the other societies we follow is one of those said societies that has been raided. And they're kind of based off of more New England, not New England, but England, kind of more your typical fantasy setting. Then we follow a 3rd society where I'm not quite sure what the aesthetics are of it yet. I don't have a very clear picture, but we follow a thief, and the societal structures are so fascinating. So basically it's baked into this community that gender is not a given, no matter what someone looks like. There's different accents that you can use for your pronouns to show whether you're high feminine, low feminine, high masculine or low masculine, or neutral gender identity. And it's baked into the society, so no one finds it weird or concerning. And I'm loving the exploration of that as a given. It's fantastic so far. And then, like I said, we're following like a thief or a street rat in that society. So I haven't seen all of them kind of grouped together, come together yet, but I'm loving it. Like I said, I don't think I can say that enough. Can't wait to see where it takes me. The dragons have been talked about, the warrior dragons, but they haven't appeared yet. So I'm excited for that. If it's as good as the rest of the book has been so far, I think I won't be disappointed. So I've been talking about this book for a hot minute now, so let me stop myself. But yeah, so we are on the way to hopefully have a lovely afternoon, and I'll get some good shots when we're there. Okay, so the place we wanted to go to was closed. They were sold out of their food. So we found another open place in Itoshima. Atmosphere is actually quite nice. So we're waiting to get a seat, essentially. It's one of the only places open in this area right now, so there's a lot of people here. But we're excited. We're gonna eat on the terrace. Perfectionist. You know why they have all this stuff? Because everyone's always waiting. They need to have stuff for people like us who can't sit still to do.
There's so many.
Random things.
Yeah.
Finally got our seat. Now let's see if the food's any good. Hey there. I wonder if it's going to be good. Let's find out. We have our appetizer plate with some kind of ham. Looks a little questionable. This is pate, anchovies, strawberry, a pickle, some radish, some sashimi, which actually looks decent. Looks good.
카르파초じゃない?
Oh, it's on there. Maybe. And then this looks good actually, the margarita pizza.
With local tomato.
I'm excited to try that. And our main course is coming. Our main course is coming later. So, we'll check back in then. This is our main course. It looks fancy, but we were hungry. So, a little disappointing in that regard. How was the pizza, babe?
Yeah, it wasn't so bad. It's better than Domino Pizza.
Yeah.
How much was it? $10?
17. 雰囲気 It's all about the atmosphere. It is nice out here though. No denying that. いただきます。
いただきます。
Alright, after that we're gonna get some dessert. There's a London bus cafe here in Itoshima if you're interested. We've never been there, but interesting. But they also have gelato. We need something sweet.
Sunset.
That's that beach life. And right down there is the beach. So we're gonna get takeout and go down to the beach. So footsteps are so cute. We're finally here! So, 名前忘れた。Key Beach? Key じゃなくて
I don't
I
know.
forgot the name of this beach. K Beach かな in Itoshima. And you can camp here. As you can see, people are. Another camper over here. 気持ちいい. So we brought some towels. Yeah. Brought a couple towels. We're gonna find a place to sit and read, but I guess the steps could work too.
Yeah.
Okay guys, so we just played some frisbee and I kicked his butt. Go ahead, Nick. I said we just played frisbee and I kicked your butt. No?
You didn't kick my butt, but you throw it directly into the sea.
I would never.
You were throwing.
I was just warming up. It's fine, it's fine. Anyway, I'm wearing my waterproof shoes today because I had a feeling that would happen. So I ran into the water and grabbed it. So we're fine, we're safe, it's good. So now that we played Frisbee for a little while, we are now relaxing. I'm gonna read some of the Black Coast. Hayato's gonna eat all of our mini donuts.
No,
Oh, it's not Ritz? もう終わった?
終わったよ。
早い早い. So yeah, we're just gonna relax for a little bit at the beach. It's starting to get a little chilly. The sun's going down, but and tonight I guess we don't really have any plans. Maybe we'll just relax at home. But I'll let you guys know how the Black Coast goes. Check in later. Okay guys, good morning. It is the next day, the next morning. After playing Frisbee on the beach yesterday and reading some of the Black Coast, it was just a wonderful day, spent relaxing outdoors. We came home and made some dinner, and then we crashed pretty quickly. So I didn't get any more reading done last night, but today is my study day. I usually dedicate most of my Mondays to studying. But I also really want to get some reading done because it's the 10th of May and I haven't finished a book. Like I've started a bunch of books, but I haven't finished a book. So I'm going to spend some time reading. I just ate some avocado toast because I am an unapologetic millennial and it was delicious. And then I'm going to drink some green tea and read for a bit before I go somewhere to study. Not quite sure where yet, but that's pending. But I really want to get a lot of the Black Coast done today. All right, just checking back in, I got some decent reading done, about 50 pages, and the dragons that I have been promised have, you know, started to show up, and I am so pleasantly surprised. It's like an adult version of How to Train Your Dragon. Like there's multiple different kinds of dragons. Some of them are meat eaters, some aren't. They have different, you know, some are pack hunters, some aren't. And it's so interesting. Like usually when you have dragons in fantasy stories, it's like one type of dragon, maybe they're rare. I'm not all the time, but typically. But this book really takes a different look at it. And I'm loving it. I love all of the perspectives in this book. There was another perspective that I forgot to mention when I did my intro yesterday about this book. There's also the sister of the God King, who's like the main leader of the society of like, you know, kind of more typical fantasy setting society. He's the God King, supposedly descended from gods, and his sister's like the enforcer basically for him, so we follow her as well when she's on a mission. And I love every perspective in this book. I adore it. It's so good. And there was also one line that really stuck out to me and made me giggle, and I don't know if this was Mike Brooks' intention, but there's one part where a character is quoting or talking about something. They're talking about history. And there's this line that says, Tolkar's arts and the God King's men couldn't put magic together again. And if you notice, the way I said it had like the intonation of all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty or Humpty together again from the Humpty Dumpty rhyme. And I have no idea if that was like Mike Brooks' intention. But when I read that, I giggled out loud because I was reading like I would normally read. And then all of a sudden I became sing-song when reading that line without realizing it. So I don't know. It's just... I don't know. I'm having such a wonderful reading experience. Just really enjoying it. So like I said, I read about 50 pages. I'm going to have one more cup of tea, have some lunch, and then go study. So I'll check back in if anything else interesting happens while I drink my second cup of tea. But so far, I love this so much. Today is a salad day for lunch, so I've got a fried egg, a little bit of Caesar dressing, some cherry tomatoes, half an avocado, and then just some cucumbers and carrots, and it's gonna be delicious. I'm so excited. Itadakimasu! Okay, I'm back, not long at all after my last check-in, because I just read a section of this book where two characters from completely different cultures have to try to understand each other in order to kind of save a lot of lives. And not only is there a language barrier, but there's cultural barriers. And this scene was written so well. So there are moments where the characters are able to check themselves and recognize their own, biases coming into play. But then it ends up like escalating at some point because more emotional things are hit on, and they lose their temper, and they understand that it's a misunderstanding, but they can't accept the other person's way of view. And I loved that scene because, as someone who lives in another culture, and especially someone who's in an interracial and intercultural relationship, this is how things go. Like, you have to compromise, and you do your best to compromise, and sometimes the interaction doesn't go very well, even with the best of intentions. And the way Mike Brooks wrote this scene is that both characters are wrong. Both characters are bigoted in different ways based on their society's culture, and I loved the nuanced way that he handled that. Like, not one culture is not perfect, whereas other cultures are lacking. They all have nuance. They all have things that are good or bad. And this scene was wonderful. I loved the way it was handled. So I just had to check in and mention that, because that's a huge part of this book so far, is these two characters and other characters from their societies trying to make this work because there's no way that they can survive without each other. And it's been handled with such care and nuance so far. And this scene was kind of like the pinnacle of that so far in this book. And I had to check in and say that, because this just another aspect of this book that I am adoring. Okay, so we're just relaxing at a different beach than the last clip. And we have this, zooming in, this crab friend. He tried before to sneak into his little hole, and Hayato stood up and he was like, fuck that shit, just like he did again. Shigeki no Kyojin Yonto. He's like, you're way bigger than I thought. He'll probably try for a third time. I was saying earlier, maybe he's got a crab wife who gets mad when he's late. So, so he doesn't get yelled at. So maybe he'll try again. But yeah, we're just hanging out. Get a little bit more reading done after my homework. Finished all my homework today, so treat yourself. Can you just say the abomination that you said before?
Don't you saw moi?
For those of you who don't know, obviously don't you is English. So moi means think so. So he just said don't you and then changed to Japanese for the think so. Don't you so moi. 帰ってきた? Yeah? I think our crab friend might be back. As soon as I turned the video to me, he might be back. I've built a whole life for this crab in my head. He's like a busy husband. He's just trying to get home, and we are in his way. Is that him?
Slower?
I was going to say, that is the slowest.
Wow.
Let me turn this around.
Second time.
Where is he? I can't even. There he is. That is the slowest I've ever seen a crab move.
Oh, this is ridiculous. めっちゃ慎重.
We've traumatized his way home. Let him go home, Hayato. Don't get up. I see you getting ready to get up.
I'm gonna move like you.
Let him go home.
Slowly.
Let him go home. I told you, he's a busy husband. He's got things to take care of. We're having a staring competition with a fucking crab.
Going back. Sorry, I moved.
I told you not to. Hayato.
Cute.
He came up in a different spot.
4回目。
The 4th time he's tried, but he's in a different spot now. He's living his life on the edge. Is he gonna move? Hayato.
He can.
I'm zoomed in on you way too close. Stop it. Okay, in the comments below, yell at Hayato for bullying this crab.
ボーイングだなこれ。
Let him go home. You're a giant. You've scared him. Oh, he's still moving. Hayato-san. やめてください. Big moves, big moves. Stop it. Every time the crab moves, he moves. Oh, he's making a break for it, I think. This is the vlog content you subscribe to me for. The Crab Chronicles. Stop it! Oh my god! He's gonna run away again. If he has to run back to the sea, I'm gonna be upset. Oh, he's getting faster. I think he's gonna make a break for it soon. He's about halfway there. Look at this asshole! The battle of the centuries. He's gonna go into the crack at the bottom there, I think. Come on, man. You're gonna make it home. Oh my gosh. He's going home to his wife. He made it to the crack, but I don't know where he's going after that. I cannot believe this is the man I married. Go for it. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah! He went home. Are you sad? You've lost your crab friend? Usually at sunset there's more of them. Yeah, I haven't picked up a book yet. I've been distracted by the wildlife. Maybe I'll pick up a book. We'll see. It's a beautiful day though, so we might actually stay till sunset. I don't know, that's quite a while though. Maybe, how long do you think until sunset? Hour and a half maybe, yeah. I don't know if we'll stay that long. We need to go home and prepare dinner and do adulting stuff. You're the better cook. I'm not gonna challenge that. I'm spoiled, guys. I'm spoiled. Get you a chef as a partner. That's where it's at. I'm telling you, money's nice, but chefs. Okay, so this dumbass created a challenge, which I just did, but I didn't get it on camera. I have to bounce this and catch it in my own hood. Okay. I just did it, so for the record, if I don't do it this time, it doesn't count. Okay? Ready? Wait, no, I don't like that.
Zuru.
It wasn't strong enough. Right. No! I just, oh, that's good.
Oh, you made
Hey,
it.
look at that. So wait. Wait, I wasn't ready. Okay. Alright. Take it away.
My turn.
Miss. Guys, be on my side. Oh, no.
上手。も
Okay, level up in stupidity. Let's go.
You ready? Did you explain that?
No, so basically I'm gonna bounce this ball and try to get it in the basket of my bicycle as he rides it. So, let's see how we do. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. My basket also, just, you know, full disclosure, got effed up. The shape is really effed up because the wind blew it over. And yeah.
もう一回。
もう一回? はい。3、2、1. That was my bad. That was my bad. Completely my bad. はいはい、ごめんごめん。I'll do it better this time. Okay. Ready? 3、2、1. Oh! We should not be this excited about that. 3回目かな ?4 回
3回目いや、4回か。
?Fourth try. Not bad.
いいね。
いいね。
俺だけきつかったけどね。
I just relaxed.
My turn.
No. I'm not good enough on a bicycle. You know this. You know this. I'm gonna end up eating shit.
Your legs are stronger.
They are. Doesn't mean that I have finesse on a bicycle. I absolutely do not. We're getting close to sunset. So maybe we will actually make it.
Let's go back home.
Timing. Okay, so we made it this close to sunset. But Nanka, we're gonna go home now. Yeah, dame. Okay, so we made it this close to sunset, but we're hungry. Nature calls. We've just gotta go. So, but it does look beautiful. Let's make dinner. Okay guys, so it is probably 3 or 4 days later. Are we surprised that Taylor forgot to vlog for a couple days? No, we're not. So let's just move on from that point. I did finish the Black Coast. I have it on my bookshelf behind me. It has been returned to its rightful place, which is within screenshot for good reason. I loved that book. I loved it so much. I think that Mike Brooks did a really good job of exploring social issues in a fantasy setting while, how do I say, he really integrated them into the world. It wasn't like the author was like, hey, these are social issues I care about and I'm going to throw them into a fantasy setting. No, they were like built into the world and had some really interesting like philosophical questions to it. I loved it. The dragon aspect of this book, as I mentioned also when I was reading it, is kind of like How to Train Your Dragon-esque. It's very different from what you typically see in fantasy, and I also loved that. I'm going to do, a full, review on it when I do my wrap up. So I'll just keep my thoughts pretty simple here. You saw my experiences while I was reading it. I highly recommend it. I haven't heard pretty much anyone talk about it, so I would love to have people to talk to about this, but until then, I'm just going to be yelling at people to read this because I thought it was amazing. Then I also read Looking for Alaska. I read that on my Kindle, which I also don't have within arm's reach right now, but I finished that last night. I read it in about 2 sittings. It's only about 227 pages, and honestly, if it was longer than that, I probably would have DNF'd it, even though I hate DNFing things that are part of my challenge, my Retro Reads challenge. I would like to finish them. But this book would have pushed me on that. I wrote my review. I ended up giving it 2 stars, which a lot of that is due to, I liked the writing. Like I liked John Green's writing style, and I thought his craft was good. But I also, when I was reading it, had to take into account the context of it. So, if I had read this book as an angsty...
So noisy.
どうぞ. I also did take into account the setting or the context of this book. Like if I had read this book as a 14, 15-year-old like angsty teenager, I would have loved it, I think. But I'm not a 14, 15-year-old angsty teenager, and thus I had quite a few problems with it. Characters were just trash. They were all trash. Yeah, they were very hard to read from. There's one character that I liked, but the rest, nope. Especially Alaska herself, nope. But the main character, Mike, was my least favorite. He just, yeah, there was almost nothing pleasant about reading from his perspective. The plot also, what plot? There was none. So the book was actually quite boring, which is why I said I would have DNF'd if it wasn't for this challenge, I think, or if the book wasn't as short as it was. So did I enjoy my reading experience? Not so much. There were a couple quotes that I liked, but overall it wasn't my favorite reading experience. But it didn't make me angry. It didn't make me upset, which is what I reserve 1 star for, or books that I think are just complete trash all the way through. And I don't think that's the case for this book. So I ended up giving it 2 stars. Now, today is a study day for me, but I am going to bring the next book on my TBR with me. I have Wondersmith in my bag ready to go, so I'm excited to start that physical book. And then for audiobook, I am halfway through Amari and the Night Brothers. Usually I go through audiobooks quite quickly, but I haven't had much time to listen to them recently. So yeah, I'm about 50%, a little more than 50% through Amari and the Night Brothers. I'm loving it. So hopefully I can finish that in the next 24 hours-ish. I have some stuff to do around the house, so that would be, a really good way to pass the time. And then the next audiobook I have lined up is From a Whisper to a Rallying Cry. So yeah, I'm very excited to get to those. Oh, I forgot to mention, I also read the first 10 or 15 chapters of The Way of the House Husband, which is a Japanese manga that I'm reading for the book club that I'm in. And yeah, it's a humorous manga about a Yakuza leader who becomes a house husband and his exploits. It's a comedy. Some of the jokes don't hit at all for me, and I don't giggle, but there were a couple of them that really nailed it. There's this one chapter about his war with a Roomba, and that had me chuckling out loud. So yeah, that's a really lighthearted, nice thing that I started. I don't know how much of it I'm gonna read. We haven't really set let's read 3 of the books or anything. So I'm not really sure, but I'll probably be reading that here and there as well. So overall, I'm all over the place with my reading all kinds of things, but I'm enjoying it. So I'll check back in with you guys later when I have thoughts. Okay, so if you've seen my previous vlogs, you know we love this ramen place, Ippudo. So we are back at it again. We got a set this time, so we have chahan, fried rice, my favorite type of ramen they have here. We have gyozas and dumplings, the rest of the chahan, and then Hayato got their spicy ramen, first time. So, oh, I'm so hungry. Itadakimasu. Okay guys, if you can hear, it's raining today. It's rainy season, it started. So I have my window cracked with the rain outside. And I am about to read Wondersmith with my book light that I have. Just got it from IKEA actually, so I'm very excited. I've got my cozy blanket here. I have a couple hours before I have to leave for work. So I'm going to go ahead and continue reading Wondersmith. I am loving this book so far. It's bringing me so much joy. Dinner tonight is seafood cream pasta. So we've got some salmon, some sashimi grade salmon, some scallops, mushrooms, and snap peas. It smells so good, guys. I can't wait. Itadakimasu! Hey guys, so it is about 2 days later than my last check-in from when I was sitting on the couch reading Wondersmith. I did not get to finish it that night, but I have been reading throughout today, and I'm definitely going to finish it today. I'm at this tab, so it's going to be no problem. Hayato and I are just going to go relax outside, and I'm going to bring this and blow through it. But I am full of such conflicting emotions right now because I'm reading this whimsical, wonderful, absolutely definitely 5 stars middle grade. I'm obsessed with this physically, right? And then I'm listening to the audiobook of From a Whisper to a Rallying Cry, and I'm livid. I'm absolutely livid at what just happened in that book. It's a nonfiction, so it's not necessarily spoiling, but I also don't want to ruin someone's reading experience by saying what has just made me so angry. So I won't say anything, but I'm just going to say that there is a portion of this book where the miscarriage of justice is... I have no words for how angry I am right now. Like, after reading that section, I just went up to Hayato and just hugged him. And my desire to protect my husband, even though this story isn't about him, the mama bear aspect of me is so activated right now listening to this audiobook. I have, I think, only like 5-7% left. So I'm going to finish that. But this was a very enlightening read. I had not heard of Vincent Chin before this. And I'm sure I'm going to do, this in my wrap up. But if you're watching this vlog, I highly recommend you pick up this book. It's, I think, a case that people in my generation, I've never heard anyone talk about it, anyone discuss it. And it is so important to be aware of this part of American history. So I'm going to recommend this to people left and right. The writing style is a bit dry. The audiobook's probably a good way to go with this. But it is a nonfiction book, so they, sometimes it's just dry. But the content is so important, if infuriating at multiple points. Like, I found myself actually yelling at the book, like as if they would hear my rebuttal to what was being said. I couldn't control it. So I have really conflicting emotions because that book is so impactful and non-fiction. And then I'm in this beautiful, wonderful fiction world of Nevermore, where I'm just smiling every other page. I'm in love with all the characters. The whimsy is off the charts. So I'm like flip-flopping between two emotional states. But I'm definitely going to finish this one and probably A Whisper to a Rallying Cry tonight. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up giving both of them 5 stars for very, very different reasons. But I'm so excited to at least take a break from being viciously angry and jump back into this absolutely wonderful world. Okay guys, so I did some reading on the beach earlier and some tanning, and I decided to give my skin and brain a break and picked up some tacos from this local taco place that, like, one of my friends in Fukuoka, his friend opened up, and these are actually fire. It's pretty hard to find good Tex-Mex in Japan, but these are awesome. So I'm gonna eat these, relax for a bit, and I started reading Holopox, although there are a bunch of other books I should be reading instead, but it is what it is. Alright guys, so this is the last clip of this reading vlog. So it is maybe 3 or 4 days after my last clip. I know it's dark and you can probably hear video game sounds right now, but Hayato is playing Spider-Man on our projector, and that's in the same room as where I do my work and I read in my books and all that. So just, that's going to be in the background. But I wanted to check in and just tell you guys where I'm at with my reading. It is the 28th of May right now, and I have finished a lot of books this month so far. As I mentioned in my last check-in, I was reading Wondersmith, the second book in the Nevermore series. I finished this book. I devoured it. I love it so much. It is my favorite one in the series thus far. It made me so happy. It's so whimsical, wonderful. It was amazing. 5 stars all the way through. I'll go into details when I do my wrap up in the next couple days, but this book was incredible. And to the point where I picked up the 3rd book. I started reading Holopox right away. So this is the 3rd book, Holopox. I started reading this as soon as I finished the 2nd one because I loved it so much. This was on my tentative TBR, like if I could get to it, that would be nice kind of aspect of my TBR for this month. But like I said, I loved it so much that I just went straight through. So I am going to try to finish this by the end of the month. Like I said, it's the 28th, so I still have 3 days. So I am, or am I? You can see my tab at the top there. I'm about a third of the way through, but this is a middle grade, so I tend to read them much faster. It is thicker than Wondersmith, but I'm flying through it thus far. So I definitely plan to finish this one. I'm also listening to the audiobook of How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House. I've been wanting to read that for a really long time, but I wasn't ready for like the emotional heaviness that I heard would come with the book. But I finally went for it because my Libby app reminded me it was due in 2 days and there's a long wait. So it was due in 2 days yesterday. So today's the last day. So I'm going to go ahead, put that on and try to marathon that. I'm about 50% of the way through it. So I think I can do it. So I definitely want to finish that. I do have some other books from my TBR for this month that I would like to get through. If all goes according to plan, this weekend should just be a very chill inside weekend, like not doing a lot of stuff outside at all. And I really want to focus on reading to get some of these done. One of them was my retro reads pick for this month. So I did read the one from last month, so I'm caught up on that. But the one for this month was The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. So, you know, this is an older book that a lot of people liked when they were in like a middle school age, whatever. So I'm definitely way past the target audience, but I tend to be able to read those types of books quite quickly. So I do have that downloaded on my Kindle, so I might blow through that. And another option is The Inugami Curse. It's a pretty short book. I think it's less than 200 pages, or just over 200. And so that's another one that I would really like to get to if I can. I have that downloaded off of Scribd. So there are a lot of options. If I can really, you know, settle in this weekend with my tea, be all cozy, and really blow through all of this reading, that would be wonderful. So we'll see how I do. But basically, to bring this full circle, I had a lot of amazing books that I read this month. Multiple 5 stars, which is amazing. But the book that this reading vlog was started for, which is The Black Coast, lived up to everything I wanted from it. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be recommending this to everyone. I'm going to be pushing this at everyone that I know that reads fantasy. I love that book so much. It's up on my shelf, so, you know, I don't want to break it out right now. But yeah, it was incredible. So just to bring this full circle, you know, it was a Black Coast reading vlog, and I highly recommend that other people decide to read it. But that is the end of this vlog. So go ahead and leave a comment down below if you want to talk to me about any of the food content I've got in this vlog, any of the books that I was reading, anything at all. I'd love to chat with you guys. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell. It really helps me with the algorithm, and I appreciate it. But for now, I'm going to head out. Jenny!